my thoughts on... if I can get all of this set up properly. The Legend of Zelda. A link to the past. Is that all on screen? I don't know. I don't really care. So, I just realized, what's the point of the title? A link to the past. The Dark World isn't the past, though. At least I don't think it is. What is the meaning behind the title, A Link to the Past? The original title was Triforce of the Gods. Okay. The game is a prequel to the NES Duo. What? Okay. Interesting. Okay. I wonder if that's stated in-game, or if that's just exposition that you're supposed to figure out. Who knows? But, either way. The world of A Link to the Past, I'd say, is quite good. It's got plenty of secrets, and because they decided to start splitting up heart containers into heart pieces, which was a tradition they would continue with the rest of the series, you actually get a lot of stuff to do. Because no longer do things give you one of them, maybe... I don't think of how many heart pieces you even get. It's 20 health total. You start the game with 3. 3 dungeons, then 7 dungeons, so that's 10. There's only 7 heart containers that you get, if my math is right. So you can either have 7 secrets, and then sprinkle in equipment, weapons, that sort of thing, for the rest of them. Or you can split them up into heart pieces and have 28 secrets, and that is way better. It means there's more to do. It means that exploring is more important, and seeing the world that they created, which is good. I'm glad they did that. But the world also has some fucking problems, where... and some of these problems are because of the port I was playing, because the two-way mirror, I think, can lead to some situations where you can softlock yourself? I don't know. That could very well have been a vanilla game thing. In which case, the solution to certain, not puzzles, but the ways players could try to solve something can just fuck you over. Who knows? I'm not going to find out. There's also the problem of fake walls that aren't fake walls. Bombable walls that hide secrets, and then walls that look identical to them, but don't explode, that can't be opened, that have no purpose. They are just a way to waste your bombs. Which, if that's the case, why raise the number of bombs you can hold by so much? Why make it so that there's fake walls that are there purely to waste your bombs, or to just have you dash into them and look like an idiot with the Pegasus boots, if you're going to raise the bomb cap to like 60 or something, while simultaneously giving out way more bombs than the original ever did? And also just the bombable floors that you have to use bombs on, some of which don't do anything. And sometimes you'll have a patch of explodable floor with only one of the parts of the floor being breakable. And that also drives me fucking insane. Because a player can have the right idea, but do something slightly wrong and have the game give them the complete wrong feedback for it. And then because of that, they can wander around for however long, thinking, that's not the solution to that puzzle, I tried it, it didn't work. When really, no, that was the solution. The game just said, fuck you. That's bullshit. That's not okay. I'm trying to think, the layout of the world is good, having the two sections to it, the overworld, or the light world and the dark world. That's cool, because again, it's more space for them to play around with. The upgrades, I'd say, are good. Getting the extra swords and the, I think the tunics are more just in the dungeons. Because the blue tunic is what, Dungeon 6? And the red tunic is in Dungeon 7 or Ganon's Tower or something? I don't know. I don't care. But those are alright. Those are okay. I do think that a lot of things are needlessly cryptic, but maybe there's hints out there that explain it. Because even in the original, a lot of shit is incredibly cryptic, and it's through old men in dungeons and caves that you're going to learn anything. So all in all, I don't know, the world's good. It's not perfect. There's annoying shit about it. But it's solid. It is one of the video game worlds of all time. The story, definitely a big step up from the original and from Zelda 2, because they do bring back Ganon, which, you know, we're using an antagonist that early on. Whatever. It was a good sort of return to form after Zelda 2, which is probably what the series needed at the time. Because Zelda 2 took a dump all over it. It's quite impressive. Either way, you got Link, you got Zelda. It's on the SNES, so they can actually do dialogue beyond, you know, the incredibly stilted dialogue the original had. The original and Zelda 2 had. You got cutscenes, you got dialogue. Each of the 7 maidens, well, 6 of the 7, fill in a little bit of exposition after you save them, which is quite good. It's good to have that backstory that really fleshes out the world. And then having the underlying dark world that is strange and weird and full of different monsters that plays with the hearts, the souls? I don't remember what transforms your appearance. And having artifacts that, like the Moon Pearl, that stops you from doing that. So that's quite solid. It's good. I don't think it's perfect, though. It doesn't really capture me. And maybe that's just because I didn't much care for the gameplay. But, I don't know. It didn't grip me in the same way that... Bad example, Persona 5. It doesn't grip me the way Persona 5 does. That is also a difference of SNES to the N64, GameCube, the Wii. 3 console generations? Maybe 4 if you count Royal? Who knows? Either way, not a good example. I'm trying to think of SNES games that have really captured me, story-wise. I don't think I played that many SNES games. Much less SNES games with really good stories. Yeah, like I played a bit of Final Fantasy VII. Not gotten too far into it. But it begs the question of, can a SNES game capture my heart with its story? Can it play with my emotions? All I can say right now is that this game didn't. So, I don't know. The story's okay. It's good. But it's not great. It's not perfect. Characters, again, you actually have, because it's SNES, you actually have characters. You've got the different townspeople, you've got the different enemies, if you want to count those as characters. Different bosses all had a lot more personality to them. Characters hinted at having stories. Sahasrara is very helpful throughout the game. You know, Zelda does more throughout the game. There's the maidens who play a larger part. There's Aghanim, who serves as a... Actually, that's a good point. Aghanim is a bonus point for the story, because at first it doesn't seem like it's Ganon, and then, it's not Ganon. It's Aghanim, but it is Ganon. Yeah, the characters, I'd say, they're good. They're definitely a step up from the NES game, where, you know, in the original, it was Link, Ganon, and Zelda, and then the old people in the caves. And then in Zelda 2, it was the dipshit town people who can't get some water from a fountain one screen away. I hate that game. Yeah, no, the characters in this are much better than they were in Zelda 2. And there's actual characters, unlike in Zelda 1. Gameplay-wise, I almost feel like Zelda or like A Link to the Past is somehow a step down from the original Zelda's gameplay, but that's partially because A Link to the Past tries to add depth to a lot of the original's mechanics, and it does so in a way that, to me, doesn't work. Because in the original, the sword swing is a poke. Just a quick jab, and then you can move again. You're very agile in that game. And in A Link to the Past, the sword swing is... it's an actual swing, not a stab. And you can cancel the sword swing with another sword swing, but that just leads to one of my biggest problems with the game. The sword swing itself takes longer, which means that you are stuck in place, so if you made the mistake of swinging in a bad direction, you get punished for it harder. And enemies deal more damage in A Link to the Past, on average. Maybe you have more health. You have bottles, which you can hold fairies in, so you're more likely to, to not die. And you can get some potions that'll fully heal you, I believe. I never used the red one. So I'd say survivability is probably a lot better in A Link to the Past, but things are more deadly, if that makes any sense. Otherwise, my biggest problem with A Link to the Past is you can mash so quickly that you cannot turn to face a threat. So if you're panicking and you're mashing, you're just going to fuck yourself over. If you're trying to swing quickly to have the hitbox out for as many frames as possible, you're going to fuck yourself over. The game absolutely lends itself to more calculated sword swings, which, if I had bothered to do that, maybe I'd like the game more. But I was used to mashing the fuck out of attacks in Zelda 1 and Zelda 2. You could kinda mash. Some enemies say fuck you and just don't get hit. But ultimately, and this happens more and more as the series goes on, Zelda is a very mashy game. There's not much thought to the combat. At least not with the 3D ones. So having played a lot of 3D ones, I'm used to mashy combat. So maybe with Link's Awakening, I'll try and keep that lesson in mind, and we'll see if I enjoy that one more. Who knows? But all in all... See, here's the problem. Is this review / thoughts what I think of it? Or is it what I definitively think of it? Like, what do I think the actual quality of it is? Because objectively, the gameplay's pretty good. You got the Pegasus boots, you got bombs, boomerang, bow, fire rod, ice rod, the 2 medallions, maybe there's more? I don't fucking know. You've got so many items, you've got so many new enemies, you've got so many areas to explore, you've got so much to do. Objectively, the gameplay's fantastic. It's great. The game itself is very good. My thoughts? Personally? Fucking 6 out of 10. I didn't much care for it. It kept me entertained. There was things to do. I ran around doing stuff. It was great. Didn't have fun with it. Didn't enjoy roughly the second half of the game. And also just the balancing of some bosses is fucking peculiar. Because if I... Let me see. The past bosses. Let's see. Let me go back and look at the bosses. Bosses in A Link to the Past. The Ball and Chain Trooper is apparently a boss. I don't believe that, but okay. Oh, right, there's bonus gameplay in the Game Boy port of the game. Forgot. You can fight Dark Links. Cool. Let's see. The Ball and Chain Trooper. You throw pots at him. He's not a challenge. The Armos Knights. I think I died to them maybe once, but I think I had a fairy. I don't know. Bullshit hitboxes. That's another problem with the gameplay. Height is not a thing, so it only matters whether something makes contact with another sprite. And in some cases, the sprite that you need to hit is a fucking lie. So the Armos Knights, despite being, 10 feet in the air, despite their shadow being next to Link, if they move over, and they're technically over him, he will take damage. And that is incredibly fucking frustrating. Lanmolas. Kind of annoying. Not that hard, though. Especially once you know to just spam sword spins. Moldorm, go fuck yourself. Genuinely go fuck yourself. There is not a single item in the game that makes that fight easier. It is purely up to RNG. Maybe the Pegasus boots, but you are equally as likely to dash through Moldorm and hit his weak point as you are to dash through Moldorm and get bounced off the platform. Because the invincibility frames, whatever it is, that dashing has, just decide to not work. Who knows? Aghanim. Really the only annoying thing about him is that because of the way the sword swings, it can be hard to know where you're going to send the ball. So the best way to fight him is to just get directly in front of him. But I think every one of his attacks is visually identical. He always does the... It's either lightning, the projectile you can reflect, or the ball that splits into like 6 shots. The lightning, at least, you can pick out because he's going to move to one of several lightning spots. I don't think there's a way to tell the difference between the other two, though. And that's kind of annoying. The Helmasaur King has terrible feedback, at least from what I saw, because I hit him with the hammer, and it sounded like it did nothing. I don't remember there being a visual cue, and the audio for it sounded like I had tapped his toe. Meanwhile, what you're supposed to do is continue to hammer him in the face. Which, assuming that's where I got the hammer, that would make sense. Yeah, you get the hammer there. Yeah, so knowing Zelda games, you expect to use the dungeon item against the boss. But feedback-wise, for a player who's going through it for the first time, especially a child, because I'm a moron, not gonna know. They're not going to know that. The Argus is not a fight. You hookshot him a couple times, and then he bounces around and you hit him. Mothula? I genuinely don't remember fighting Mothula. I don't. Blind the Thief, his hitbox is bullshit. You have to hit him in the head, despite in some places I don't know if you can hit him in the head. Hey, Daga. Cold Stare. I'm so glad I didn't run out of magic in that fight. Well, Dagoth, too late. I've had pain in my lower back that has made one of my legs constantly ache for almost the entire time I stand up. Fun. But yeah, Cold Stare. Don't much care for that fight, because again, it's just you hit him with the dungeon item and then you swing at him a bunch. And also another problem with Blind the Thief, the dungeon item you get there is completely unrelated to fighting. So you're going to have no idea what's effective against him, and then it just turns out it's the sword, because again, you can't use the dungeon item against him. It's such a strange way to handle it. Vitreous is just the Argus again, but he can shoot lightning. Really not that hard. The Trinex is just Helmasaur King again, but you have to use the fire and ice rods, which means, again, you are capable of running out of magic and having absolutely no chance of winning the fight. Which later games solve that problem by constantly giving you magic, and arrows, and bombs, and whatever you need for the fight. And then the Ganon fight can fuck itself, because it's possible for him to knock you out of the fight, and rather than that just dealing damage as a punishment, it resets the fight. And that is a waste of the player's time and effort. And it's fucking annoying. It is the same problem as the Bed of Chaos in Dark Souls 1, where it is entirely possible for one mistake to fucking kill you and force you to redo the whole thing. And even then, the Bed of Chaos at least saves some progress. Yeah. Gameplay-wise, I think A Link to the Past is a vast improvement over its predecessors, especially Zelda 2, because Zelda 2 can fuck itself. But I did not enjoy it as much, and I do think it has some serious problems in how it's designed. The music, though. Music's pretty good. I don't know if I want to say perfect, just because I have a hard time saying that SNES music is perfect. Although the Donkey Kong Country games would probably get real close. Those have some banging tunes. And what I know of Donkey Kong Country music, I think I like that more than this game's music. So I'm going to say a 9.5 out of 10 on the music. Very good. True classics. Don't like it more than Donkey Kong Country. Don't like it as much as Donkey Kong Country. And I consider that music to be phenomenal. Lengthwise, I mean, how long did this game take me? How long did I play the fucking first one for? Or not first one. How did I play it? How long did I play on the first day for? I don't know. But lengthwise, I think the game is very good. Like I said, it has a lot to see and do and explore. Especially with the two whole worlds. It's the Castlevania Symphony of the Night thing. There's just an entire another castle to explore. Yippee. I just completely lost my train of thought. It's a good length. There's a lot to explore, a lot to see and do. And it doesn't feel padded, because even though I was annoyed with it, my annoyances were never due to the length of the game. It didn't overstay its welcome. So I think lengthwise, pacing-wise, they did a phenomenal job, especially for a game with, what is that, 10 dungeons? First 3. No, 11 dungeons. Yeah, for a game with 11 dungeons. That's pretty good. Because Ocarina of Time has 3 dungeons, 5 dungeons, and 1 dungeon. And then like a bonus few things. Yeah, so Ocarina of Time has 1 less dungeon, but yeah, no, I think lengthwise this game is very good. It is what it needs to be. Jank-wise, fuck you. 7 out of 10 on Jank. There's a fair fucking bit of it. Projectiles traveling through enemies because the projectile doesn't spawn from Link. It spawns from like half a foot in front of him. Sword swings, cleanly whiffing. Which again, these could all just be because of the PC port I played. I don't know. But from what I know, the PC port is a copy of Zelda. Let me see. It really is a question of how accurate the port is. Because I don't know. Here's the binary. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay, I need to just find the actual GitHub itself. Oh, don't click the fucking link. Let's see. There it is. This is a reverse engineered clone of Zelda 3: A Link to the Past. It's around 70 to 80,000 line LOC of C code, I don't know what that means, and re-implements all parts of the original game. The game is playable from start to end. You need a copy of the ROM to extract game resources, then once that's done, the ROM is no longer needed. It uses the PPU and DSP implementation from Lake SNES, but with lots of speed optimizations. Additionally, it can be configured to also run the original machine code side by side. Then the RAM state is compared after each frame to verify that the C implementation is correct. So unless I am mistaken, what that means is there's the PC port, but you can also have it run the original code, the actual original Zelda 3, and you can have it compare every frame to see if there are any differences. And theoretically, it'll be the exact same. So unless I have somehow fucked up installing this and getting it to run, it should be the exact game. I also do not care to test, because fuck that. Either way, quite jank, quite annoying. The way that Link gets sucked into pits if he goes anywhere near them, incredibly frustrating, especially when combined with enemies that bounce you away, which is probably the intentional design. Does not feel good. does not feel fun. The ice physics feel like they don't work. Because it doesn't feel like ice physics. It feels like your acceleration just gets taken away. And you can get yourself pinned in corners to the point where you have to let go of the D-pad and hold a new direction to start moving. It's very odd. Very, very odd. But overall, A Link to the Past is probably a 9 out of 10 game. For me, though, 6 out of 10 Zelda. I don't know how that features compared, or I don't know how that ranks compared to the other two so far. I don't like it. Good game, not for me. But with that, that'll be it for me for today. So thank you to everyone who stopped by. Have a good one, and I will see you tomorrow. Or perhaps more Zelda. I don't know. Bye-bye.